One dodgy bobble hat, one black and white camera, one comment, one like. Everybody knows the rules. So why am I in black and white? What the hell is going on? Listen, I feel pretty damn dreadful. So I'm getting this video out and then I'm going back to bed because I feel pretty damn awful right now. So I appreciate all of the people that are supporting the content and the channel. It's been absolutely superb. Talk about the melee. Has it made the game worth playing for? The new changes, the lunge reduction, the conal change. Let's have a chat. Let's take a look at this balance. In we go. Gears of War has always had melee problems. People have hated the B button since the B button existed in Gears of War 1. Whether it was two-piece in Gears 1 with the melee stun, whether it was the lock-on of Gears 2 or Gears 5 lunge melee, it's always been a problem. Let's take a look at a video I made back in Gears of War Judgment just to showcase how I felt about the melee. I thought I'd just throw this video up there. Nobody's seen it. It's an old comedy video from way back in time. Roll the tape.
Round 1. Fight!
Finisher. Mission. Fatality. Flawless victory.
Hopefully you enjoyed that little comedy video. Now, the reason the melee has sort of gathered some heat and some discussion in the community is kind of based off this video, but it's not just me. I think everybody and their mother knows that the Gears 5 melee was completely ridiculous. Basically, it went from kind of an impossible, you had to be right up close, and it's slowly become this like lunge lock-on melee. And it's basically irked a lot of people, and rightly so. The game's all about being up close, it's all about being personal, and all of a sudden that's completely ruined when somebody can just lunge at you. Shoot, combo, pretty insta-kill. As you can see, the huge swing it used to be able to lock on, the big kick range. There was no melee stun or anything, and we've had a few changes, and I'm going to test these changes and let you know how I personally feel about the melee, and you can also comment below how you are feeling about the new melee. You can see initially here I positioned them exactly where we were in the previous video. There is a lot less of a lunge. In fact, there's pretty much no lunge until you're in super close range. As I was still kind of a little bit miffed at this point. I was like, the lunge is kind of still there. So I tried some running lunges, and I tried a bit of other stuff, and there's still a small lunge there for sure. The lunge definitely hasn't gone. It's still noticeable. So then I wanted to try the shoot melee combo, which is where you would shoot and melee. And interestingly, what I didn't realize about this was you actually can't do it anymore. The reason you can't do it is if you shoot melee, the melee lunge is only activated if they are in one-shot range, which kind of means that although they didn't nerf the shoot melee, it was an indirect nerf because you can't actually shoot a melee and reach them. So now all of a sudden it is actually beneficial to shoot twice instead of shoot melee in. Previously, the shot melee would just insta-down you, and it was really safe to do, and there was no reason not to do it. Now, basically, the only time the melee lunge is going to be activated is when you can one-shot them anyway. So really, the only time you're going to be meleeing is if they've completely sponged that first massive shot and the second, or you've maybe snuck up behind them and you just wanted to melee them for some reason. However, you can see here, even compared to the old lock-on, which we saw previously, there's really no lock-on anymore. Now, there's a kind of a side lock-on where, it kind of locks on, but honestly, all of these previously would have hit. Now you almost have to be looking at the character. There's still too much of a lock-on for me. I still feel like you should have to aim the damn thing, but it is a light year better than what it was previously. And if you melee and take cover, you cancel the melee, which means that whole style of melee wall bounce melee kind of doesn't really work, because if you wall bounce before it's connected, you cancel the knife. Now, again, I can still melee online and get kills. I can still do that. It's still an effective method, but it's nowhere near as absolutely ridiculous as it was. And I've seen people online swinging at me and missing. So I would say that the change has done a lot for the health of the game in general. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But is anything perfect? Absolutely not. I would say this is a pretty healthy change for the game, and it's a step in the right direction. I'd still like no lock on, I'd still like no lunge, because we've reached a point now where the lunge is only activated when you can one-shot the person anyway. So the only way you're going to be meleeing is if you're absolutely point blank. And if you're absolutely point blank, you don't need the lunge. So now I just think the lunge needs to go completely, and we're in a really good spot. Yeah, a lot less melee. And now let's play some online, and I'll chat about the game in general and how I feel about how things are going. So now that we're heading online, I tried my best today to swing my gun, and I put my pride on the line. I tried to melee everybody, and I made myself look stupid because time after time I missed the melee. Now, again, I'm not saying that the game is perfect and the melee is completely gone and not abused, because you can still get meleeed a lot in this game, and you could still get meleeed a lot in Gears 1 as well. It's just kind of a thing. It just needed to be not the staple of the game. And today I really did try to play online. I played my five placement games, and I really tried to swing my melee as much as I could. And as you can see, honestly, like, I'm swinging away here, and I'm pretty sure that back in the day, some of these melees would have connected. But you can see in this small clip that honestly, it's actually really kind of difficult to land a melee. And that's the way it should be. A melee should be a thought out action rather than like an instant reaction of, oh, melee shoot, melee shoot, melee shoot. So really, there are a few examples I can pick out, maybe if I can dig through like 2 hours of footage where people are meleeing and missing, or I'm meleeing and missing, or sometimes we land the melee. But honestly, the games I played today were much more pleasant and enjoyable because it wasn't a complete melee fiesta. Now, there are other problems with the game. Like, me and my friends played today, and we sat down and we played our 5 ranked placement games. And then after our placement games, we played one more to see if the ranking system was working. Now, I'm not going to comment on the ranking system or bring out a video saying it's fixed or it's broken, because I haven't played enough to actually make that call. Maybe in a week or two of playing, I can come out and say it's fixed, right? But I don't want to bring that information out right now and claim that the ranking system is fixed because, well, frankly, we don't know. Today I played a game where it was incredibly sweaty, absolutely disgusting, 5-man Lancer crosses. I just could not capture the point. I was getting lanced, I was getting enforced, I was getting smoke, flash. It was everything. And honestly, me and my friends were getting sick of it. It was impossible to break certain setups. And I think I ended up coming top of my team. It was 2-1, and I think we lost by like 20 odd points. And I ended up losing score. So I don't know what they want. I don't really get it, because to me, it's kind of difficult to judge if you should lose points or not. On a personal level, I just like playing Gears and just having a solid 5v5 experience and not worrying about my rank. I really dislike elo systems in general because they just make people do things like absolutely abuse and sweat everything. That's kind of why the melee was such a big problem. If there was no elo on the line, if there was no I've got to climb to be masters or whatever, people would be like, yeah, I could probably melee this guy down, but that's not what I signed into. Me and my friends say this a lot. We say to each other, I could definitely cross this guy, but that's not why I signed in. When I run Gears 5 and I run Gears, I think to myself, the reason I've turned this game on isn't to melee, it's not to cross lancer, it's not to flashbang, disable somebody and then shoot them. It's to have nice close quarters action. And that's why the melee was so hated previously to this patch, because it really took away that close quarters action, because everybody was just shoot B, shoot B, shoot B. It was getting ridiculous. Now, I've played again, we played about 3 hours today, and honestly, hand on heart, 5 or 6 melees that I thought to myself, that was kind of annoying. But you're always going to get that in Gears because nobody likes the melee, right? So this change is a nice one. And yeah, I was going to pick out loads of footage of me melee, and that was the plan. My plan was to run around and still melee shoot everybody and prove that, yeah, these guys don't know what they're doing. They've broken the game again. But I was pleasantly surprised. The shoot melee isn't really a factor because the shoot melee is one-shot range. Now, that leads on to another problem of, I actually think the gib range is way too large, and that's a whole nother topic for another day. And there's loads of videos I can sit and make, and I will make them. It just takes time for me to get through all these topics, as I'm sure you understand. I'm trying to make my way through everything. But yeah, today was a little bit more pleasant. Now, I've still got gripes with the game, and there was still some incredibly annoying stuff going on in Gears 5. Don't get me wrong, the core gameplay is still Gears 5. They haven't changed anything really, they've just fixed the melee. So, you know, we're not in a perfect state, but this was an improvement, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't an improvement, and I'm not going to try and exaggerate how bad it was for views or whatever. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. To me, the melee is in a good spot. Perfect? No. Is it bad? No. It's in a pretty decent spot. So I would say this update has been a good change. So if you're thinking about checking it out and you're a bit getting pissed off at the melee, go ahead and check it out. I'd recommend it. If you have been supporting the channel, I just wanted to again say a huge shout out. We are 86% towards my content goal. Now again, the channel just doesn't work monetarily, so I decided to set this content goal. So if you think this 2 months worth of content have been worth it, you can support towards the goal. I didn't want to do a Patreon because I felt like if I do a Patreon, it sort of puts pressure on me to make content every single day, and it's sort of I don't want a contract between me and you as the viewer. I don't want to be like, you give me money, I make video. That's not what I want. I want to make the videos I want to make, and if you have enjoyed them and you felt like the content has been good, I'm just giving you the option to support me. I feel like a Patreon is very, very strict, and I don't want to go down that route. So again, the likes, the comments, the subscribes have all been massive in helping my channel. We've had an active community tab on YouTube. We've had loads of tweets, and I've got loads and loads of content. I'm just trying to get through it all, and it does take its time. So hopefully you'll stick with the channel as we get through all of the things I'd like to talk about. So that was the melee nerf. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to go to bed now. Hopefully I'll be feeling better tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.